Hello and welcome to quiz class. I'm your host Ellen, and today we have 100 questions on general knowledge. Let's take a look at our quiz class awards. Let us know how you rank in the comments at the end, along with the answer to the bonus question. So let's jump right in. What was Confucius mainly known as? Scientist, philosopher, or explorer? Philosopher. Confucius's teachings shaped which country's thought? China, India, or Greece? China. Bill Gates created which global foundation? World Health Org, the Gates Foundation, or United Nations Fund? Gates Foundation. Winston Churchill was Prime Minister during which war? World War I, World War II, or the Cold War? World War II. Columbus's voyages spread which deadly thing? European diseases, clean water, or modern medicine? European diseases. Columbus also opened up what kind of trade? The slave trade, oil trade, or spice trade? The slave trade. Homer wrote which famous epic about a war? Beowulf, the Iliad, or the Republic? The Iliad. Homer's Odyssey tells of whose return? Socrates, Odysseus, or Achilles? Odysseus. Henry Ford created which production method? The assembly line, handcrafting, or random order? The assembly line. We are at question 10. Michelangelo painted the ceiling of what? The Parthenon, the Sistine Chapel, or St. Paul's? The Sistine Chapel. Michelangelo's most famous statue is of who? Caesar, Apollo, or David? David. Mandela wrote which autobiography? Long Road Ahead, Long Walk to Freedom, or Free at Last? Long Walk to Freedom. Jefferson promoted separation of what? Church and state, work and life, or army and people? Church and state. Beethoven is famous for being what? Painter, composer, or poet? Composer. What challenge did Beethoven face later in life? Blindness, deafness, or paralysis? Deafness. Marie Curie discovered which scientific breakthrough? Magnetism, radiation, or gravity? Radiation. Curie died because of exposure to what? Radiation, fire, or chemicals? Radiation. Benjamin Franklin invented which helpful glasses? Sunglasses, bifocals, or 3D glasses? Bifocals. Franklin published which farmer's almanac? Old Farmers, Poor Richard's, or Franklin's Guide? Poor Richard's. We are at question 20. Genghis Khan founded which vast empire? Roman, Mongol, or Ottoman? Mongol. Khan's empire became the largest of what kind? Ocean, contiguous, or island? Contiguous empire. Mozart composed the melody of which song as a child? Silent Night, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, or Ode to Joy? Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Thomas Edison invented which famous item? The printing press, the light bulb, or the sewing machine? The answer is the light bulb. Moving on to question 24. Edison also created which sound device? Microphone, radio, or phonograph? Phonograph. The first Gutenberg printed book was what? The Bible, the Quran, or the Iliad? The Bible. Napoleon was first defeated at which battle? The Battle of Waterloo, the Battle of Hastings, or the Battle of Normandy? The Battle of Waterloo. Napoleon rose during which major revolution? French, American, or Russian? The French Revolution. Martin Luther started which movement? Protestant Reformation, the Industrial Revolution, or the Scientific Revolution? The Protestant Reformation. Luther opposed the selling of what by church? Relics, indulgences, or candles? Indulgences. We are at question 30. Here it is. Karl Marx co-wrote which famous manifesto? The Communist Manifesto, Human Rights, or Social Contract? The Communist Manifesto. Marx was mostly supported by which friends? Hegel, Engels, or Lenin? Engels. Julius Caesar transformed Rome into what? A republic, an empire, or a kingdom? An empire. Caesar was killed on which famous day? The Ides of March, New Year's Day, or Caesar's Day? And the answer is the Ides of March. Let's move on to 34. Buddha was originally born as what? Farmer, prince, or merchant? As a prince. Here goes question 35. Buddha reached enlightenment under which kind of tree? Lotus, oak, or olive? Under a lotus tree. Nikola Tesla once worked for which inventor? Newton, Edison, or Einstein? Edison. Tesla wanted to give free what to all? Internet, power, or food? Power. Moses received which set of laws? The Ten Commandments, the Roman Code, or the Magna Carta? The Ten Commandments. George Washington set many rules for which office? The presidency, the Supreme Court, or the Senate? The presidency. On to question 40. Abraham Lincoln issued which famous proclamation? The Freedom Act, the Emancipation Proclamation, or Justice Law? The Emancipation Proclamation. Lincoln led America during which war? The Civil War, World War I, or the Revolutionary War? The Civil War. Gandhi promoted what style of resistance? Violent, nonviolent, or military? Nonviolent. Gandhi is often called the father of which nation? Pakistan, India, or Nepal? India. Socrates' student who recorded his ideas was who? Plato, Aristotle, or Homer? Plato. Socratic thought encourages people to do what? Memorize dogma, create your own knowledge, or reject questions. Create your own knowledge. Martin Luther King led which protest after Rosa Parks? The bus boycott, the Freedom March, or the sit-in protest? The bus boycott. MLK gave which famous speech in Washington? Free at last, I have a dream, or equality forever? I have a dream. Let's see question 48. Shakespeare's most famous love story was what? Hamlet, Romeo and Juliet, or Macbeth? Romeo and Juliet. Shakespeare invented which type of joke? Political, dark, or knock-knock? The knock-knock joke. We're halfway through question 50. Who defeated Harold at Hastings in 1066? William the Conqueror, Richard III, or Henry Tudor? William the Conqueror. Harold was famously said to die by what? Sword wound, arrow in the eye, or poison? Arrow in the eye. The Magna Carta was forced on which king? King John, King Edward, or King James? King John. The Magna Carta is now seen as a symbol of what? Human rights, military power, or religion? Human rights. The Black Death killed about what share of people? Over a quarter, 1/10, or exactly half? Over a quarter. Which revolt was partly sparked by the plague? Peasants' Revolt, Civil War, or Jacobite Rising? Peasants' Revolts. The War of the Roses were fought between which houses? York and Lancaster, Tudor and Stuart, or Windsor and Hanover? York and Lancaster. Which queen reigned during most of Shakespeare's life? Mary the First, Elizabeth the First, or Victoria? Elizabeth the First. Which queen's reign defined the Victorian era? Elizabeth I, Victoria, or Anne? Victoria. Early humans used what to cover bodies? Leaves and skins, metals and glass, or cotton cloth? Leaves and skins. Which group was first to sew animal skin? Neanderthals, Romans, or Egyptians? Neanderthals. Neanderthals lived mainly in which region? Eurasia, Africa, or South America? Eurasia. What material did Neanderthals use for tools? Stone, bronze, or iron? Stone. One social reason for clothing is what? Sleeping, hunting, or modesty? Modesty. One psychological need for clothes is what? Adornment, travel, or cooking? Adornment. Neanderthals hunted which large animals? Mammoths, camels, or horses? Mammoths. The first sewing needles were made of what? Plastic, animal bone, or metal? Animal bone. Which region first wove textiles in late Stone Age? The Middle East, India, or Europe? The Middle East. The immodesty theory says clothes were for what? Attraction, warmth, or status? Attraction. Clothing today also protects against what? UV rays, cold drinks, or furniture? UV rays. What did early societies often mix with disease treatment? Science, superstition, or nutrition? Superstition. Who wrote about 200 medical conditions in Egypt? Galen, Imhotep, or Hippocrates? Imhotep. Which public system improved health in Roman times? Railways, sewage systems, or vaccines? Sewage systems. What strange treatment was common in medieval times? Bloodletting, vaccination, or insulin use? Bloodletting. Who mainly cared for the sick in medieval times? The army, the church, or farmers? The church. When did the word doctor first appear in Britain? The 19th century, the 14th century, or the 20th century? The 14th century. What field did doctor originally describe in Britain? Farmers, theologians, or artists? Theologians. What did Leonardo da Vinci study very carefully? Stars, human anatomy, or plants? Human anatomy. What discovery did William Harvey make about blood? Blood has four humors, heart pumps blood, or blood makes bile? The heart pumps blood. What painful practice started in the 19th century? Vaccination, anesthetics, or x-rays? Anesthetics. We are on question 80. Which idea linked germs directly to disease? Humor theory, germ theory, or magic theory? Germ theory. Who was the first woman to get a medical degree? Florence Nightingale, Elizabeth Blackwell, or Mary Barton? Elizabeth Blackwell. What was identified in 1900? Cancer, blood groups, or ADHD? Blood groups. Which diseases first had widely used vaccines? Cancer and asthma, diphtheria and tuberculosis, or diabetes and gout? Diphtheria and tuberculosis. What discovery transformed bacterial disease treatment? Antibiotics, chemotherapy, or x-rays? Antibiotics. What made motion pictures so loved worldwide? Travel and stories, cooking tips, or politics debates? Travel and stories. What toy showed pictures moving in succession? Kaleidoscope, zoetrope, or microscope? Zoetrope. Who photographed a galloping horse in 1878? Edison, Muybridge, or Mary? Muybridge. Which brothers invented the cinematograph? The Stanford brothers, Lumiere brothers, or Fairbanks brothers? The Lumiere brothers. Early films often showed what kind of events? Commonplace scenes, royal speeches, or action thrillers? Commonplace scenes. What elements were soon added to silent films? Food, story and music, or colors? Story and music. Which movie made Eddie Murphy a superstar? 48 Hours, Beverly Hills Cop, or Harlem Nights? Beverly Hills Cop. Eddie Murphy played Axel Foley in which film? Boomerang, Beverly Hills Cop, or The Golden Child? Beverly Hills Cop. Eddie Murphy voiced a character in which DreamWorks film? Aladdin, Shrek, or The Haunted Mansion? Shrek. Mia Farrow's breakthrough came with which film? Rosemary's Baby, Broadway Danny Rose, or Radio Days? Rosemary's Baby. Kevin Costner starred in which baseball-themed movie? Field of Dreams, Silverado, or No Way Out? Field of Dreams. Which Kevin Costner film featured Elliot Ness? Silverado, The Untouchables, or Bill Durham? The Untouchables. William Hurt won praise in which Cronenberg movie? A History of Violence, Body Heat, or The Italian Job? A History of Violence. Danny DeVito's breakout role came from which sitcom? Taxi, Friends, or Cheers? Taxi. Which film earned Sean Connery an Oscar? Johnny English, The Untouchables, or Dr. No? The Untouchables. Question 100. Sally Field won her first Oscar for which film? Norma Ray, Steel magnolias or places in the heart? Norma Ray. Our bonus question, who played the role of Jules Winfield in Pulp Fiction? Let us know the answer in the comments and, of course, how well you did with our Quiz Class Einstein rewards. Thanks for playing, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.